Excuse me. Welcome back to Jujutsu Kaisen, anime review, episode number 2. Why am I doing episodes for a series that's not currently on the air? Well, because the movie. That's simply the reason for it. This will be discussing episodes 6 through 10. This is basically cover one story arc and the start of the very next story arc, which is also going to be my last story arc I'm going to be discussing for these episodes. Yep, the last one. Excuse me. Now, the arc this one's covering is Curse Training and Mahito, first Mahito arc. The Curse Training arc is roughly like 9 chapters. It's like 10 to 18. Mahito is chapters 19 to 31. I forgot to mention this in my first view. The first arc, the introduction arc, which covers the first 3 episodes of the series, that covers the first 5 chapters of the manga. Curse Womb, which was a quick 2-parter, that covers chapters 6 through 9. The 5 basically kind of starts for the next arc of the series. Now, in the case of what happens in these in these episodes, well, Junie is still technically dead. He is now with his classmates. Actually, he's alive. Well, basically, he, in the case of the curse being he's the host to, it made agreement. Once a day for 1 minute, he gets to possess his body. And he doesn't do any murderous rampages. And also, second issue is he has to forget what happened. And, of course, basically, Yagdi is not exactly green to this until basically kind of killed in the inside. And then he's able to restore his heart and come back to life. And upset the ME who's there, who was about to do an autopsy on the character on the star of the series. Yeah, and I'm like, and it's kind of weird though. He does not basically apologize to her for appearing to perform completely naked. Yeah, I would. It'd be weird. It'd be interesting though if he took her out for dinner just as an apology for seeing him naked. Yeah, but no, it doesn't go anywhere. Also, it's shown she looks like she has got like little bags under her eyes. It looks like she does not get much sleep at all. So, they do show a little bit later where she's examining 2 cursed beings who the new character appears in these episodes. His name is Kento. Yeah, who's actually old friend of Gito's. Yep, old friend of his. And they take him out basically to scout out a particular just to basically check a lay of land, go on a mission involving a movie theater. Movie theater triple murder. Yeah, where 3 high school students were murdered by having their bodies altered. Yes, it's kind of basically revealed that Mahito was one responsible for this, so they do that. Before I continue, I had to talk about what his classmates are up to. Well, they meet up with the kids from the Kaito school. By the way, the principal, who's an old man, is voiced by Kyle Herbert. Now, here's an interesting question. Who was by far the oldest character Kyle Herbert's ever voiced? Probably Sullivan from Welcome to School Ermakun. Yes, this one's probably the second oldest, because Sullivan is 1,000 years old. So, there's that. He is the second character he's voiced in the series I've come across. He does voice one air character, but I haven't seen his debut yet, so I'm not going to discuss him. Yeah, this character briefly is for one scene where he is one of the elders who actually wanted to, one of the elders wanted to kill the main character, but luckily enough, basically, he's a conservative, so he was able to basically cool heads prevail, and he's one in charge of the Kaito branch of the Jujutsu High School. And we have 2 of the students show up there. One, of course, happens to be the sister of one of them. Yes. Yeah, Maki's sister. Which, when... this is something interesting, though. Nabuto, she says that her sister is prettier than she is. Which I found to be so hilarious. And, of course, where... Umuta basically is just Taito, where he's rumored to take down like a bunch of cursed beings, and he asks Megumin exactly what type of woman he's into. He's into a woman basically a beautiful rear end. I'm like, is he into big butts? And he is, and what he gives basically his answer he does not like, so he proceeds to beat the crap out of him because he also cries while doing it. Until Panda steps in and stops him. Yes, Panda. he's a hilarious character. And then of course, basically, then he of course, he had also ripped up his jacket before he started fighting. He picks up his jacket and he removes, oh yeah, I got tickets to this concert. I get a chance to shake hands with my favorite idol. Yep. And he does at the end of the episode. Don't worry about that. Excuse me. And that's most of what goes on with those two. They don't do a lot in the Curse training. As a matter of fact, in the first My arc, they don't really appear at all for the first couple episodes I've seen. Because it's all about Yugito when he goes to his training that he goes to in order to use his cursed powers. Which, given what happened in the Curse Zuma arc, basically, it's the good reason for it. So, and when he gets to the rooftop of the... Get back to the actual main character. He battles a couple of cursed beings. Turns out these are former humans, where they had no choice but to kill him, even though he did kill him. And according to Emmy, she's not blaming him for murdering them. Basically, it was the only choice in the matter to deal with these two. And in the case of Yagito, he's later instructed to follow a student named Jinpei. Yes, a student named Jinpei. One of these gloomy kids who's got a long, long bang covering one of his eyes. Standard stuff when it comes to goth kids. And he's a kid who's picked on. And twice is shown in the first Mario where he's beaten the crap out of by 4 guys. The first group of guys are killed by Mahito himself. Which, of course, Jinpei chased after him. And he was actually quite surprised. Someone who's not a Jujutsu sorcerer can see him. Like, did you get him? He's like, so what if I did? And they have great conversations with each other. These are by far a highlight of the first Mahito arc so far. Is these two interactions. Because these two have great chemistry. I got at least not only hands to the voice acting, but the writing for these scenes are just so freaking good. And then, of course, basically, while Yugi is tailing, of course, Jinpei, he does follow him to his house. And we see his old white man there, who turns into a teacher. He doesn't like him very much. So Yugi decides to embarrass him by bagging him. You're probably wondering, what the heck do I mean? Pulling down his pants. And then run away with his pants. And then come back later on, and of course they go for a walk. In the case of Kento, he goes down to the sewer. Yes, the sewer. And he confronts Mahito himself and gets into a fight with him. And that leads into him going to the area, and that's where we leave off there. He also does this thing where he says, I clocked in at 10 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, I have to go home. Basically, because he used to be an office worker. So he still has that mindset, because they revealed he actually was Jujutsu Sorcerer, but he did briefly quit for 4 years to become a salaryman. That's basically a term for office employee over in Japan. And then he returned. And I read a line, apparently this actually was just basically the creator's idea to do this, where have a normal guy who basically is a Jujutsu Sorcerer just happened to do this, which was really interesting. I gotta say, his stuff basically is really good as well. And basically, this guy's dialogue is so freaking good. I just enjoy it. His interaction with Yagito is just really good. And the assistant supervisor, who was with Yagito for the later stuff, doesn't do a lot per se, but it's interesting to see him. He would just actually show up in the last arc, so interesting to bring him back. So far, basically, we only have 3 interesting characters. We got the best dialogue. Excuse me, listen, man, this is so cool. I love it. Yep. But not really much else to say about these episodes. They're good, and I'm going to be discussing the last 3 episodes of these arcs later. And then after I finish this arc up, I'm going to put the series on hiatus, and we're going to go back to doing that time of Quick as a Slime. I'm going to read a couple light novels first. But I'll kind of a little bit later. Yep, so yes, that's going to be pretty much it for Cycle of You. Probably got to wait a bit to do a comic corner. I'm going to do a comic corner today, and I'm also going to do a review for Attack on Titan. Yes, I'm going to hopefully get a chance to do this tonight. And also, if I get time to, after I do Attack on Titan, I might be able to finish up watching the episodes I want to watch and go back to real light novels. Yep. Now, to the next video. Bye.